up, sexy people? It is Dave, it is Duncan, back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Leeds-based Jurassic rockers Dinosaur Pile-Up. The band's new album, I Felt Better, is out on August 22nd via Mascot Records. Struggle, vulnerability, pain, resilience, love. It's been a hell of a journey that Dinosaur Pile-Up have been on, and they bravely laid it out on bare on their new album, I Felt Better. Their first record in 6 years will be released on August 22nd. As so much time has passed since their last studio album, people need clarity about what happened, Matt Bigland explains. It's been so cathartic to lay it out. He began documenting his story on the band's Instagram account in December 2024, which you can check out. But let's just say he's been through it. And I will summarise for you, just to give you the cliff notes here, just so you get an idea of this, because it's fucking ridiculous. So jump back to just before 2020, just before you know what. Matt was completely burnt out. He was in a toxic relationship, had no money, the band had no label, and then he got really sick. Diagnosed with Crohn's disease during lockdown, with no immune system and completely fucked. So he did what any musician would do, and he spent time at home, because what else was there to do? Writing songs. He also met a new partner. He got himself in shape. Then the travel bans got lifted so he could go and see his partner. And then just as that happened, his symptoms flared up again. He started bleeding internally. He couldn't eat, he couldn't talk, and he had to be admitted to hospital. Then after a few weeks of various tests and such, he was re-diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And due to the hospital not having beds due to the pandemic, he was discharged with a ton of morphine for the pain. But not long after being home, basically it worsened. He couldn't really eat anything apart from soup or protein shakes, because he had like hundreds of mouth ulcers, which just got worse and worse. He ended up back in the hospital in a pretty bad way. His throat almost collapsed. He had then to go on steroids that were, I think it was 600 times stronger than what he had in the past, to try and get rid of the ulcers and like rebuild his throat. But that obviously came with huge side effects as well, and he had to be completely isolated due to the immunosuppression of the steroids. That worked initially, but then after some time it all came back again, and basically by this point he was fucking like low, like he hit a really dark place. And in a kind of last ditch attempt to try and get some form of a life back, he tried a kind of Chinese medical treatment that a friend of his had kind of told him about. It wasn't cheap, but within a kind of short space of time of using this treatment, the bleeding stopped, the ulcer started to go away, and his health started to improve kind of day on day. And as I understand it, he still needs to take these treatments if his symptoms start to flare up, but at the moment it seems to be kind of keeping them at bay. So eventually in 2022 he was able to play again with the band. He then got married to his new partner, and they started working on the new Dinosaur Pile-Up album with the band. So 3 years of like emotional and physical torment, which I've wrapped up into a few minutes. But he has gone through like some incredibly heavy shit.
The Instagram, like we spoke about this before, like it's up there. It's in like I think it's 4 or 5 parts.
Yeah.
Go and watch it, because like if anything, like words give you an idea how bad it is, but seeing it is.
Yeah, the pictures and the videos are like
fucking horrific, man.
Yeah, terrible. But now they are tightly coiled and ready to go, because overcoming life-threatening illness and finding a fresh perspective on life will do that to you. I Felt Better started as a makeshift mantra, unwilling to sift through the layers of trauma with every friend who checked in to see how I was doing, indeed often unable to speak through a mouth filled with centimetre-wide sores. Matt found himself defaulting to that wry, understated 3-word response. After 4 years of repetition and rattling around his head, those words are reclaimed as the title to Dinosaur Pile-Up's defiant 5th album. 12 songs to draw a line under half decade of sickness and struggle, and a distillation of his agonizing uncertainty and self-analysis. The record is about triumph over adversity through perseverance and resilience. I'm so proud that I actually got made, and its journey was rough. I'm so proud that I was going to be out there in the world. I think it will serve as an epitaph to an intensely challenging and defining part of my adult life, but I'm really stoked that I'm on the other side of it, and it's now memorialised in solid rock. Ultimately, the album seeing the light of day is a huge part of Matt's happily ever after. He's more focused on work, home, and life's simple gestures than he's ever been. All that has underlined why music matters, which is why the album runs the full gamut of emotions, exhaustion, mental health, empowerment, celebrity, vulnerability, and at the heart of the album, love. The album was recorded, produced, and mixed by Larry Hibbett, who, if you're old enough, may remember his band 100 Reasons.
Dear God, I just felt my back crack, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh no, what we're doing here.
Yeah. So,
I saw 100 Reasons live.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Back in the day.
Oh dear.
So, Dinosaur Pile-Up, Duncan. I've just done a shit ton of talking, so I'm going to let you kick off with what you thought of I Felt Better.
So you brought Dinosaur Pile-Up to my attention, like what feels like a fucking age ago. So if this is the first album in 6 years, 6 years ago you brought that album up to me, Celebrity Mansion. And I remember hearing it and thinking to myself, this is kind of cool that they're a British band, you know what I mean? Like, because like they had such an American sound about them.
Totally, yeah.
And you kind of just, the way that album sounded, I was like, if this, like, I don't know how many albums have been out by the band by this point, but they're going to be huge. And then literally, it was one of those things where, like, every 6-7 months or something like that, I'd be like, whatever happened to? Because their songs inevitably, they're in a lot of my playlists, a lot of my workout playlists. I'd be like, do they have anything else out? You would check nothing. Fucking radio silence. And the internet didn't really help then. It wasn't really until 2024 when that stuff started appearing on their Instagram that I started to understand why. But I didn't realise they'd been dropped from their label.
No.
Which kind of makes me think, especially after listening to I Felt Better, their label fucked up. Like, they fucking huge. Whoever it was that did that, like... Hopefully he doesn't have a job in A&R anymore because he made a big mistake. My only issue with Celebrity Mansions, like going back to with kind of more like seasoned, refined and more curmudgeon-y ears, is that there are a lot of songs in it that remind me of other bands independently. Yeah. So there's a couple of moments in there that remind me very much of kind of Monkey Wrench era Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah.
There's a track on it that I swear to God is Pixies, Where Is My Mind? I think he maybe even used the same like in the track. It's very on the nose. Even though they change it enough, I'm not saying plagiarism, it just is a very evocative of that sound. But at its core, the one thing they had was tracks that made you smile. Like the album is full of songs. Every single song on that album you can sing the chorus to. Even right now I can think of at least 4 or 5 choruses from that I could sing, and I've not listened to Celebrity Mansions in probably about a year. So I could comfortably, because they were just written that way. We'd already done some background work on some of the singles here, of which I think there was they did their label did the release a single, then release another single, but then it becomes an EP, then release another single, so now you've got 3 EPs, and like it was duplicating on my Apple Music. Other suppliers are available, which pissed me off. So at that point I cut my losses. I know there's been at least 1 or 2 other songs that have come out since then, but I was like, not today. We're going to wait for this album to come in, because I knew inevitably, because you passed them to me, inevitably we would review them, and here we are. The big thing that stands out to me from I Felt Better is, and it's a word that everyone fucking hates. If you're a band, you hate it. If you're a reviewer, you hate it. I'm very, very sorry. But this is a much more mature release. It is like, there you go. It's like, this feels like the band have grown into their sound. Yeah. Like, all across everything. It just feels like shortcuts you would use as a musician to try and, right, the fans will love this bit, let's throw a gimmick in here for that. All that's been kind of stripped away, and what you're kind of left with is the core of really fucking good songwriting and really good vocal performances and poignant lyrics. I love all across the board here. The lyrics are brilliant. They tell stories, but they love's the worst is just a great summation of what it feels like to kind of go through it. Everyone, I refuse to believe that no one has been through a situation where they're in love with someone who is using them. And it captures it as the fucking worst. It's the best, but it's also the fucking worst. I like that stuff just kind of captures the essence of life. In that press statement, once again, don't read the press statements. That press statement, when they were covering what they were trying to convey here, I think that they've achieved, mission accomplished, banner, let's have a celebration and a party. They've really encompassed, weirdly, he's managed to encompass 5 years of misery in an album, but still made it sound positive. You know what I mean? This is an immensely positive album, even when it's playing with depression or breakups or whatever. The songs are written in such a way that even at the end of it, you kind of go, like that, and it's kind of satisfying. I kind of feel like I've went through that experience, and you know what, things will be all right. I felt better. The beauty of this as well is I actually think the flow in this album is fucking great. There are a couple of what you would class as ballads, but they don't remove the distortion from the guitar for too long. They all kind of have big oomphy choruses, big singable choruses, venue singing choruses. If he wanted to, you could just turn that mic round. The audience are going to sing everything here. But there's the quirk that you kind of expect from previous Dinosaur Pile-Up albums in a really, really, really fun way. That could come in a track like Punk Kiss, which is just a big old kind of kind of track. It's just really bouncy, really jumpy. It's got you kind of it's kind of their kind of, was it a thrash metal cassette or whatever it is, sort of thing, where it's just full of energy, full of bounce, straight at your face. We're not going to stop. Tracks like My Way are designed for fan participation, you know what I mean? The whole, but once again, not done in a shortcutty sort of way. It's just been written in a way where you just want to participate in that. Tracks like Big Dog would fit on it a Celebrity Mansion for ease. The way it's built up with that kind of muted pan-picky guitar thing, and the way the whole track builds up. Dinosaur Pile-Up are really good at the build up as well. Whether it's in Big Dogs, you've got that almost kind of Bloodhound Gang sort of kind of electronic-y drummy thing playing in the background, building up the song, but it's layers and levels. And they had a lot of that before, and I'm glad that they haven't lost that, because when a chorus comes in, Big Dogs eat for free, you kind of want to scream it. You won't be like, oh yeah, Big Dogs eat for free. It works for me. What I loved about this as well is the back half of the album, as sentimental as it gets, doesn't really lose its balls either. Quasimodo Lemon Heart, which is a ridiculous name for a song, was designed for Scottish people to pronounce once they've had a few beers, which is really talking about celebrity. Is fun and uplifting and quirky. Once again, super catchy chorus, and it kind of underpins the fact that as bad as life has got, and we talk about this all the time, music is the great healer. It's a great equalizer and everything. Art is just in general. There is no better way to express yourself, your feelings, when the words fail you, when the emotions are raw, when things are cloudy and they don't quite make sense. If you throw yourself into an artistic pursuit whether you want to or not, it will come out in that medium. It's just how humans operate. It'll be a darker colorscape in a painting.
Yeah.
It'll be a slightly somber use of words in a poem. It'll be a kind of poignant hook in a song. Like it's the way our bodies digest trauma, pain, happiness, sadness, loss, love. It's the great equalizer. I'm glad this didn't defeat him, and I'm glad that he managed to pick things up back with his band, who must have thought there for a while, are we in a band?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's nothing more helpless than someone going through, and I'm speaking about this without peeling the curtain back, Dave. Me and you were in a band for many years, and essentially we ended up not in this position by any stretch of the imagination. But one of the reasons we're not in a band anymore is because immune systems are tricky things, and when they don't work, they kind of stop you doing things that you did fearlessly before. Yeah. So, like, I kind of grab onto that, and if we didn't have this, then I don't know how much stuff we would do it with watching the occasional movie. This is kind of our hook. Yeah. To being connected. I don't want to get too sentimental on this, but it's that thing that hooks us together. And kind of going through this album, I felt all that, but I actually felt happy, like, all the way through, even though it's conveying essentially really, really, at times, very disparate and very depressive subject matter. He's managed to find a way to kind of pivot it in the best possible way without them changing too much of their sound, and if anything, refining it. I will say this, I actually think this is one of these rare occasions where I think this album was pretty much all singles, like, and there isn't very much on here that they couldn't release as a single if they wanted to. Some are more marketable than others, for sure, and I think they've led with the ones that probably make the most sense as kind of teasing for tours and all the rest that they're going to be doing. But yeah, across this, I think this is brilliant. Production is stellar. It's nice, crisp, bouncy, bright, loud. But that's nothing without the songs, and the songs are great. So yeah, it's one of these albums that it could have went either way for me, with them coming back after such a long hiatus. You know, if I just, like, they coming back, just has time been frozen for them for 6 years, and then they come back, you're like, yeah, time's moved on. Weirdly, it's so familiar, but that mature word is what I keep coming back to. They've managed to remove a lot of the stuff that at times it wasn't necessarily off-putting, but to me it was like, it kind of feels like that's the safe choice that you just did there. And they managed to strip it down to what is the most important things, which is the melody, the groove, and the song construction. And as a result, the album doesn't really have anything you can chop out. It was so good to come at this. We had one particular album in our cycle this week which is so immensely bleak. It's unbelievable. And this is the album that I would listen to after it to give myself like a kind of weird pick me up. It's kind of great to have them back. Hopefully we will be checking them out later in the year to see it live. I can't wait to see them live. But yeah, you're the guy that turned me onto them, and that's because you were like, this is fucking great, this is your summer album, I think is how you were like, listen to this all summer, and I was like, I will do that, Dave. As being someone more familiar with them before I was, how'd you get on with I Felt Better?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I kind of adored that last release, so I was ecstatic to hear they were finally coming back with album 5 on Mascot Records this time. Matt has had the worst time, so I'm really pleased to see them getting back doing what they do best. But I also think that the struggle and the journey back to health has actually resulted in some of the best songs this band have ever written. They've always been great at delivering big songs with big hooks, but this feels even more focused than before. Those melodies are even stronger. I had like one spin of this album, and then the second listen I was like singing along. I was like, was it. Like it was in there straight away. So infectious. And once they start on like About to Lose It, the first track, they just keep kind of smashing them out. The album starts up here, really high, and just stays there. But as always, they give you like little variations on each track musically. Some tracks are more steeped in like grunge or punk rock. or on occasion they'll pull it back with something a bit more kind of alt rock driven, but they're all very much still connected. Nothing ever feels like a jump too far stylistically. The whole album is very cohesive, very well laid out to give you these little kind of nice like side steps from style to style, but there's always a charisma that's fundamentally Dinosaur Pile-Up. They have their own personality that just overflows on each album, and on this release I feel it's very apparent. You could pick these guys out of a lineup.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or a pile-up even, because their sound is it's instantly recognizable musically and vocally. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Musically, this is great. Like plenty of big, like powerful moments, big riffs, and like you mentioned the Foo Fighters earlier, there is still stuff on here that could compete with
early Foo Fighters, not like Dave Grohl shagging his mistress, having a kid Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, probably more on the heavier side of the Foo Fighters. Same, a little bit of the Dirty Nil in here as well, but also moments that are really kind of quirky and playful. And I know they're from Leeds, but I completely forget constantly this band are British.
They sound American. They're the most American sounding band ever. I don't know if that's because like Celebrity Mansions is just full of references to America. But like in my head, like I knew they were from the UK. I don't think I knew they were from Leeds until you said in the press, like, David, you were Leeds, and I was like, all right, even then I wouldn't have been Leeds. London,
it's weird,
maybe.
Whenever I listen to them, like I always imagine like very sunny, almost like California.
Like that's the West Coast is what you think.
It's weird, like, and I don't necessarily think they sound like Weezer, but they give me that same kind of feeling, that kind of like smiley, happy, same like kind of teenage wrist. That gives me that same kind of warmth, kind of feel good vibe. But yeah, as I said, musically, like great momentum, has some really killer moments. Vocally and lyrically, though, I think this is the best thing they've done to date. I know we've said Matt's been through the ringer, but because of that, I think this is the most lyrically and emotionally resonant material they've released. These tracks just hit with so much more meaning. And Celebrity Mansions was great, but I didn't come away from that album thinking about the meaning or the depth behind the lyrics, really.
Because like when they're singing about like living in mansions or not living in mansions, so it's kind of it's a critique of celebrity. Without an understanding of that, where these are lived in lyrics, you know what I mean?
Yeah, these are coming from a very real place.
Maybe not Quasimodo Lemonheart, but
possibly
everything else.
Yeah. After listening to the album, I went back and I managed to get a download of the lyric sheet, because I love the lyric sheet. And the second time I listened to it, I read the lyrics as I went through it, and I'd highly recommend it. A lot of it does have that kind of like touch of humour to it, even though when he's talking about those kind of dark subject matters, he keeps it very playful. But then there are moments on the album where he pulls that back a bit and just kind of lays it out there as raw and honestly as possible. And those moments are really nice on the album. I really enjoyed them. The other thing they've really elevated on this release is the production. Celebrity Mansions had a really cool sound to it, quite dense sound, but this feels more chiseled. The guitars are a bit crunchier, the drums as well, they've got a bit more punch, and the size of the album just feels generally bigger, and makes these songs sound even more anthemic. So killer job by Larry Hibbett. This sounds brilliant, and again, if you told me this was produced by some big name producer from LA, I'd be like, yeah, of course it is. It's got that sound, it's got that kind of rub on it. But it's been handled by someone who really knows their shit, and has clearly been doing this for decades. I wasn't really aware of Larry's previous work, but I don't think we've ever discussed him before. But turns out he's been at this for a while. He has worked with Dinosaur Pile-Up before, as well as bands like Don Brocco and Boston Manor and Nothing But Thieves.
Cool.
I did some of the 100 Reasons stuff as well. So he's been working on it for a while, and he's done a really fantastic job on the production of this album. It sounds killer. We had a very similar discussion last week about the new Dirty Nil album, The Lash. this is like Dinosaur Pile-Up taking it to the next level. And for me, I think it's the best thing they've done to date. I thought this was great, like really good album. So what do we think score-wise for I've Felt Better? What are you scoring this one?
Yeah, this is thumping strong. This is a 4.5. Few albums that, like I say, when you get to the end of it, you just feel like you're a better human. I'm a better person because I've listened to this album. I've Felt Better makes me feel like that. It makes me feel like I want to do something nice for someone at the end of every listen, like, which is going to like make me like desolate and fucking skint by the end of it.
Yeah.
But I genuinely feel like a better human for going through that experience. The world is a better place for Dinosaur Pile-Up being still in it, doing music. I don't think it's a perfect album, but the roughness kind of makes it what it is. So 4.5 is where I'm landing with it.
Yeah, I'd agree. 4.5 for me as well. I think this is another, like, they're always really good quality albums, but this one just feels like a kind of notch above what they've done in the past. Vocally and lyrically especially, I think this is great. Like, this is easily the best stuff they've done. And like, when I was listening to this, I was like, this is just going to be fire live. Like, when you see this with a crowd, it's going to be so good. So yeah,
and
so
this band needs to be bigger. I still don't get it.
Sure.
I don't get why a label would be like, well, we've been stuck with these lemons. Like, I honestly, genuinely don't get it, because this to me feels like easily one of the most marketable things ever. Like almost no effort marketable. So I don't honestly get it.
I know. So yeah, their UK tour starts in September, on the 5th of September in Birmingham, and at Bristol, Glasgow, Manchester, London. Check out the dates. We'll definitely try and get to that Glasgow date at the garage. And like, after hearing this album, I suggest you do the same, because this is going to go down an absolute storm. So that is our review of the new album from Dinosaur Pile-Up. Comes out on August 22nd on Mascot Records. I Felt Better. Check out the links, check out the band, check out the single, have a listen, see what you think. Let us know your thoughts and opinions. That is a review. Thank you for checking out. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.